everybody, today's video is a foundation review on the L'Oreal Visible Lift Blur Foundation. It has SPF 18 and the shade that I have this in is 207 Buff Beige. So chances are you've seen this blur line popping up. Blur line. Blurred lines. You've probably seen this in your drugstores. It may also be accompanied by some new concealers and blushes and stuff, but for now, just focusing on the foundation for this review. First thing I notice about this when I get my hands on the formula is that it's kind of a mousse-like texture. Now, not as dry as something like Maybelline's Dream Matte Mousse, you know, that comes in the little pot, but compared to a lot of liquidy foundations, I find it slightly thicker. So it's like if a true liquid formula and a true mousse formula foundation mixed together and had a baby, it would be this kind of a texture. Coverage on this I would describe as a straight up medium coverage foundation. I don't know what it was about it, but I was expecting it to be more sheer than it actually was on my skin. It actually covered a little bit better than I was thinking it would. It does not completely cover up my melasma that I've got going on the tops of my cheeks like the Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Coverage does. It's also not as full coverage as just the regular Estee Lauder Double Wear. I'm going to continue to see dark spots, freckles, even a little bit of redness still through this foundation. But in terms of evening the overall skin tone, taking some of my special problems out of the equation, it does a pretty good job for just evening out the skin. The finish on the skin, once this is freshly applied, I think looks really nice. You know, not too dry, not too greasy or dewy, but just kind of in the middle. So to show you what I mean with everything I've said so far, here is a little demo to get some of the product on my hands and roughly patch it around my skin where I want the product to go. I think it blends in fine and fairly easily with your hands. It's got, like I said, that kind of silky feel to it. I really do like to pull in a brush like my Sigma F80 and kind of stipple around certain areas like my under eye. Also, I find I really love the way that brush gets around, you know, my jawline, my hairline, just totally gives me a blended finish with liquidy type foundation. The end result, as you can see, you're still seeing my melasma here. I didn't expect this to fully cover that up, but from an overall skin evening perspective, I think it did a pretty good job and looks pretty natural on my face. So for those key problem areas, I definitely feel the need to go in with a separate concealer and take care of, you know, the under eye area, maybe a little redness around the nose. As I sit here with the finished look giving you this review, you know, I've gone and done that. I use this with and without powder to try to assess the staying power. I think powder, at least for my skin type, is definitely this foundation's friend. I tend to get a little bit oily in my T-zone. Not maybe as oily as I have gotten in years past, but it still happens and it is still, you know, hot and humid, summery type conditions here where I live. I've used more high-end, like powder foundation types of things. I've used just lighter, more translucent types of powders, and they all improve the staying power somewhat, but inevitably as I get toward the end of the day, I feel like my T-zone has like a heavy and kind of tacky feel to it, to the touch. I am very interested to see how my skin would respond to this foundation as the weather gets colder, as I start to encounter a little more dryness. But for right now, staying power wise, this does not get me through an entire day feeling flawless. You know, I'll put it on in the morning and I'm noticing that greasiness that I described to you by about, you know, 2, 3 in the afternoon. This is not a foundation that I see myself repurchasing, because just considering my own needs, I know there are other foundations that I've got in my collection that are better coverage and better staying power. Those are really priorities for me in makeup, and especially with foundation. You know, I want a product to really be a little bit fuller coverage than this, and I also want it to last me all day. If your skin can wear this and look good throughout an entire day, more power to you. For me, I think it ends up being a little heavy in the T-zone. I guess I didn't mention too much about the blurring and, you know, masking the look of pores, wrinkles, etc. I don't think it exaggerates those kinds of issues. I don't know that it completely undoes them either. In fact, as I get more oily throughout the day, I will start to see more pores coming through. I'd like to be able to boil this down to, you know, maybe this is a good foundation for people with fairly even skin that's dry, but I have seen Kristen Games' review on this, and she has dry skin, and she really was not a fan. She also had staying power issues with it. So not a foundation I would personally recommend, but hopefully this video gave you a little more info to go on if it's something that you're looking into. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.